Imagine receiving a phone call late in the afternoon. It's your mother, it's your brother, maybe it's your best friend. They're crying. They just learned that they have stage 4 cancer. It's aggressive and making its way through their body, but it's not in their bones yet. Your heart is breaking. You wish that there was something that you could do for them. Well, there is. Whether you know someone who has cancer, PTSD, or maybe someone that has convulsions on a regular basis, there is something that you can do. Today I'll be providing you with insight into what medical marijuana is, why legalization is important, and how this misunderstood plant, if given the opportunity, could help people with serious medical conditions. This is a marijuana plant. So what is marijuana exactly? It's a naturally occurring cannabis sativa plant. It's been used for millennia for religious reasons as well as for medical reasons. You can use it by smoking the flowers or the leaves or even the stems. You can consume food made from it. You can use it by vaping the oils, or you can create an extract out of it. If you are against marijuana, then perhaps you see this. Perhaps you're against it because you think it's dangerous, because it's not FDA approved, because it might be addictive or impair your driving, or because legal drugs make the use of marijuana unnecessary. What you should be seeing is this. This would actually be a canister of medical marijuana that is given to someone who needs it. If you're against medical marijuana, then I also hope that you are against alcohol and tobacco in the market. According to a study published by psychopharmacologist H. Valerie Curran in 2016, the estimated chances of becoming addicted to alcohol after lifetime exposure is 23%. And tobacco jumps up to a whopping 68%. And where is marijuana in all of this? It is only a 9% chance of becoming addicted. The same study done by Curran explains that cannabinoids are becoming more important in modern medicine, especially with regard to chronic pain. Yes, actually, your body creates cannabinoids, and they have cannabinoid receptors. So we can actually receive the therapeutic benefits of the medical marijuana. So now that you know a little bit more about marijuana, let's look at why the legalization of medical marijuana is so important. Meet my mother. My mother was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer a few years ago. Shortly after she was diagnosed, my father decided to leave her because he couldn't deal with the imminent possibility of her death. In fact, she was only given 5 years to live. So she had to endure a whole bunch of things, all on her own, to include a single mastectomy, radiotherapy, and chemotherapy. And regardless of all this, she still had to continue to work. She went to work nauseous, full of pain, and she even threw up at work on many occasions. Now, my mother would never consider using medical marijuana because of the negative societal influence. The stigma is so thick, that she just could not bear to do it. Unfortunately, now the cancer is in her bones. Now it's also in her eye. There's nothing more that can really be done but to help to reduce the pain and try to prolong her life as much as necessary. Now, medical marijuana actually has a potential to slow or even halt cancer growth if detected at an early enough stage. However, more research needs to be done in order to find out the full therapeutic effects of this plant. That can only be done by decriminalizing and legalizing marijuana. So by decriminalizing and legalizing marijuana, we can continue to do more research about this plant and its effects and its side effects in people, and then provide more medical opportunities for people to receive care, to help stop cancer, or to slow its process to give us a chance to fight it. Meet Beth. Beth is one of my battle buddies from the Army. She's 38 years old and a U.S. Army crew chief veteran. Her and I went on a deployment to Afghanistan together. And unfortunately, during that time, her helicopter got hit by enemy fire. Her pilot had to make a controlled crash, and she's never been the same since. She received a traumatic brain injury. She has PTSD. She has degenerative disc disease in her neck, and she has lower spine joint replacement. She's been dealing with these conditions since 2011. So that's 7 years of pain, 7 years of emotional distress. She barely leaves the house because of her pain and her anxiety. She's had 4 surgeries, 3 procedures, and over 30 failed medications. Nothing has worked. The VA have been clueless as to what to do next. This is Beth now. This is 7 days after an operation that she had. And unfortunately, due to this operation, her right side of her face received some paralyzation. And now she's had lost vision, decreased vision in her right eye. Fortunately, there is a more advanced VA doctor in the hospital, and he recommended that she go to a state that offers medical marijuana. But before uprooting her family, she wanted to know if it would work. She's undergone so many procedures and surgeries and medications. She didn't want to just move her family without knowing if it was actually going to help. So she went to a state, and she got some medical grade marijuana. And after she tried it, she realized it did help. It helped her so much. It helped her with the pain. It helped her with her anxiety. She got out more. She did more things. Because before, she was just locked up in the house. In 40 days, she will be moving with her family to a state that has legalized medical marijuana. So did you know that marijuana used to be listed in the U.S. dispensary? Indeed it did. It treated asthma, insomnia, nausea, anorexia, convulsions, and vomiting. Now, marijuana is gaining more respect today than it has in the past. According to a study by Abigail Geiger at the Pew Research Center in 2016, young adults have disproportionately driven the shift toward public support of marijuana, and it's rising among other generations as well. Research into its therapeutic effects has intensified in the last 20 years, because that's when we found out that we actually have receptors for the cannabinoids. So now that you know why it's important, let's move into what you can do to make a difference. Do your own research. That's the number one thing that I can possibly tell you about it. Learn all that you can. Learn about the studies that have been done, the benefits that are out there. Become a social advocate. Help pass the word around. Do some protests. Join or create a reform group in your state to help get legalization out there. And engage your friends and family in stigma-busting conversations about medical marijuana. It's very likely that you know someone, like my mother or Beth, who could benefit from the effects of medical marijuana. You have the basic understanding now to go do some more research and to make a difference in the lives of thousands of people. It's time. It's time to take action.